She gets hyper these days. Okay.
everyone. Hello, hello. Thank you so much for finding your seats. We want to welcome you to the 42nd annual Tribute to Dr. King. We're going to have a great day today. Please rise for the posting of the colors by the Crispus Attucks High School JROTC Color Guard, followed by a performance of the Building Blocks Academy Scholars.
Mark time, march! Inward, face! Colors, halt! Freeze it, colors!
Building Blocks Academy Scholars. Good morning. You may be seated. Welcome to the 42nd Annual Tribute to the life and legacy of the prophet, the revolutionary, the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. The Indianapolis Public Schools is proud to sponsor this annual tribute that honors the man who told us this: our goal is to create a beloved community. This will require a qualitative change in our souls, as well as a quantitative change in our lives, end of quote. Our theme for the 2023 program is Our Responsibility, Creating a Just, Equitable, Anti-Racist Society. I am Patricia Payne, Director of the IPS Racial Equity Office. It is time for our program to begin, and we do so by welcoming our students and educators and recognizing our beloved elders and community sages who are the protectors of our traditions, history, culture, and the legacy left to us by our ancestors. The elders and representatives from our beloved community who we recognize this morning are part of a proud tradition of excellence. And they are seated right here in front and some throughout the auditorium. We praise you and thank you for always having our backs. Thank you. Before I turn this over to our MC, I want to remind all IPS high school students to visit the IPS website for registration information on the IPS Butler University Oratorical Competition. You don't want to miss this. It honors Dr. King. And now, please welcome to the podium our guest MC for this prestigious occasion, Alexis Rogers, Wish TV anchor. We are so proud to have her. It's all yours, Alexis. Here you are.
Hey everyone, how we feeling? Oh, let's try it again. How we feeling? Oh man, I'm so honored to be here with you today. It's amazing to be in rooms like this because we are pretty amazing. Look at all these faces. Look to the person right next to you and say, you look pretty nice today. You feel pretty nice today. Culture and history and community are important, and that's exactly the building blocks of where we are today. 42 years of honoring Dr. King in the best place possible to honor Dr. King. I'm so honored to be here with you today. Well, listen, you all know that we have a lot of change agents here in the city, people who are always putting their boots to the ground, thinking of a lot of these faces that I see right here in this auditorium. And one of those said change agents is definitely Commissioner Kenneth Allen from the IPS School Board. Please help me give him a very warm welcome to the podium.
Thank you, Alexis. On behalf of the Indianapolis Public Board of Commissioners, I'd like to welcome you to this year's tribute to Dr. Reverend Martin Luther King Jr. As Dr. Payne mentioned, we have a program full of inspiration with two exceptional keynote speakers as well as special performances from some of the district's most talented students. Throughout the program, we will reflect and celebrate the life and legacy of Dr. King. In thinking about what I wanted to say this morning, of course I could have Googled the obligatory MLK quotes, speeches and phrases that are so often used during this time of year. But instead of quotes, I wanted to take this opportunity to ask you to take note of who the person is or persons in your life that exemplify the life and legacy of Dr. King. In your family, who do you know that is empathetic, respectful, and honest? At your school, who stands up for what is right and speaks up for those who don't have a voice? In your friend group, who is compassionate and inclusive? Are you the person for your family, class, or friend? This is an exercise that we all should do more often because it truly takes all of us, every single one of us, to help achieve Dr. King's dream. To the IPS students, staff, parents, alumni, and community members in the audience, and those that are watching virtually, right now, thank you and enjoy the program. Now I'd like to welcome our dynamic superintendent, Dr. Alicia Johnson.
Good morning. Well, it is such a pleasure to be here. Thank you, Commissioner Allen, for representing our school board. Good morning to our students, our staff, our community members, alumni who are here in the auditorium, and also those of you who are streaming and watching us online. Participating in this annual tribute to Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. is one of the many highlights of the work I get to do during the school year. And having it inside this historic Addix Auditorium, which once served as the only high school Black students were allowed to attend in this city, adds to the program's significance. Yeah. And I want to take a moment to recognize the fact that Addix is celebrating its 95th anniversary. Our Alumni Association recently had a celebration, and so I want to honor those who came before me and those of you students who are sitting in this auditorium to make it possible for you to sit where you sit. So let's honor them today. Today we're here to remember how Dr. King changed the lives of people worldwide, how we still benefit from his work and sacrifice, and the ways that we can continue that work. Like so many of us, I was impacted by the legacy of Dr. King as a young child. In school, learning the stories, learning about his I Have a Dream speech, but also hearing some snippets of conversations in my house. And it wasn't until I got a little older that I recognized the significance of those conversations I was hearing with my family. Because you see, I recognized that my grandfather, the Reverend Dr. Anthony Brooks Sr., actually marched with Dr. King. My grandfather was the vice president of the state of Kentucky NAACP during the 1960s. And in his role as vice president of NAACP, he participated with Dr. King in a march in Frankfort, Kentucky. And so I have a picture of that march in my office. I can't make out my pawpaw's face. I'm not quite sure where he was, but I know he was there. And that means a lot to me. It helps me to remember the path that has been paved to allow me to be where I stand today. Looking at that black and white image, I just copied it off a newspaper article, with people of different races working together, locked arm in arm for the betterment of our society is a constant source of encouragement to me. It also serves as a daily motivation to me as we work to make IPS the equitable and just district that it can be, so that all of our students, regardless of race or circumstance, have the opportunities that they need to be successful. So as we celebrate and honor Dr. King today, whether you are a student, a parent, a grandparent, an alumni, a partner, a staff member, a part of our community, what I hope we all walk away with is a unified commitment to work together to improve the lives of others. As Dr. King's life demonstrated, this work is not easy, and it is not for the faint of heart. But together, I deeply believe we can realize the hopes and dreams that his life has come to represent. Together we can, together we will. Enjoy the rest of today's program.
Now, it wouldn't be a celebration unless we had different elements to today. So I would like to welcome in a celebration in dance, Talking About Freedom, performed and choreographed by Elena Nissan Thomas, senior at Short Ridge High School, International Baccalaureate Diploma Program of Dance. Please welcome.
America be America again. Let it be the dream it used to be. Let it be the pioneer on the plain, seeking a home where he himself is free. America never was America to me. Let America be the dreamers dreamed. Let it be that great, strong land of love, where never kings connive nor tyrants scheme. That any man be crushed by one above. It never was America to me. Oh, let my land be a land where liberty is crowned with no false patriotic wreath, but opportunity is real and life is free. Equality is in the air we breathe. There's never been equality for me, no freedom in this homeland of the free.
Sure you won't be able to turn your head away, 'cause what I'm gonna talk about, nobody wants to be without, and it makes no difference who you are. You happen to be, as long as you're alive and breathing, this has got to be one of your needs. I'm talking about freedom for you and me.
Free? Who said the free? Not me. Surely not me. The millions on relief today, the millions shot down when we strike, the millions who have nothing for our pay, for all the dreams we've dreamed and all the songs we've sung and all the hopes we held and all the flags we've hung, the millions who have nothing for our pay except the dream that's almost dead today. Oh, let America be America again, the land that never has been yet. And yet must be. The land where every man is free. The land that's mine, the poor man's, Indians, Negroes, me, who made America. Whose sweat and blood, whose faith and pain, whose hand at the foundry, whose plow in the rain, must bring back our mighty dream again. Sure, call me any ugly name you choose. The steel of freedom does not stain. From those who live like leeches on the people's lives, we must take back our land again. America. Oh yes, I say it plain. America never was America to me. And yet I swear this oath, America will be. Out of the rack and ruin of our gangster death, the rape and rot of graft and stealth and lies, we the people must redeem the land, the mines, the plants, the rivers, the mountains and the endless plain, all the stretch of these great green states, and make America again. Make America again. Let America be America again.
Amazing, amazing. Let's give another warm round of applause to Alina, as well as Commissioner Allen and Superintendent Johnson. Amazing. If I tried to do that, I would be sore for at least 2 more weeks. 2 more weeks. Well, next up, we have some amazing students here at Crispus Attucks. Where are all my students at here at Crispus Attucks? Let me hear you. Are you excited? There we go. Well, coming here to the podium to introduce our keynote speaker is one of your very own. So you know what I expect? For you to give her the loudest round of applause to welcome her to this podium. Please welcome your fellow student, 11th grade student here at Crispus Attucks, Elena Bibbs.
I'm honored to introduce our next speaker, Fred Payne. He is president and CEO of United Way of Central Indiana. Fred previously served as Commissioner of Indiana Development and Workforce Development appointed by Governor Eric Holcomb in 2017. Fred led Indiana's response to the extreme unemployment brought on by the COVID pandemic in 2020. Prior to serving as commissioner, Fred was an executive at Honda's Indiana Auto Plant, IAP, where he had served as chief administrator, general counsel, manager of the business division, a member of company operating committee, and represented Honda across North America. Recognized as one of Indiana's 250 most influential leaders by the Indianapolis Business Journal, Fred is considered an expert on workforce and employment topics. Fred was recently awarded the Sagamore of the Wabash, the highest honor given to those who have rendered distinguished service to the state. Fred earned his JD from Indiana University Maurer School of Law, MA from University of Northern Iowa, and BA from Grambling State University. Please join me in welcoming Fred Payne.
So good morning, everyone. It's so nice to be here at the historic Crispus Attucks. I want to first thank all of the administrators and the faculty and teachers here. So join me in giving them a round of applause. Dr. Johnson talked a little bit about the historic nature of Crispus Attucks. I just want to add a few more points here. This is, as we all know, the place where the first patriot lost his life. Well, it's named after the first patriot who lost his life in the American Revolution. Just a few other notable things about Crispus Attucks. As Dr. Johnson mentioned earlier, it was the first all-African-American high school in the nation to win a basketball championship. Now, it opened its doors. Well, we can clap for that. So it opened its doors in 1927 as the only public high school for African Americans. Also, the year after it won its first state championship, it was the first state team to complete a season undefeated. And it won another state championship in 1959, but the most recent one was in 2017. Now, the Medical Magnet School has a unique relationship with the IUPUI, one of the only of its kind. Now, we know there are some notable alumni from Crispus Attucks. The late Congresswoman Julia Carson, chess master Bernard Parham, Harry Brooks, U.S. Army Major General, and we all know about NBA star Oscar Robertson and Bobby Edmonds. We also have some former Globetrotters who are from Crispus Attucks, Bailey Flip Wilson and Wee Willie Gardner. The diversity of accomplishments that have walked through the doors of Attucks is just simply amazing. The accomplishments of each of those persons were simply dreams, dreams at some point, simply dreams by their parents, simply dreams of theirs, and simply dreams that are the essence of Dr. Martin Luther King's I Have a Dream speech and what he both stood for and fought for. Now, many of us have read or heard the famous I Have a Dream speech. It is perhaps one of the most quoted speeches in the last 60 years. But when we look at the speech and reflect on where we are today, what can we say about that dream? So we're going to talk about that today. So let's do a little bit of an audit of that dream. So let's start looking at it. I have a dream that one day sons of former slaves and sons of former slave owners will be able to sit together at the table of brotherhood. Check. That dream came true. In our society that is as simple as it is complex, the sons and daughters of slave owners and the sons and daughters of slaves do sit down in brotherhood. We all have friends who can trace their ancestry back to slave owners or a slave, and we can testify that those friendships never would have occurred 100 years ago. Some never would have occurred 50 years ago. So it's hard to say today that that part of the dream hasn't been accomplished. Let's look at the next part of the dream. I have a dream that one day little black boys and black girls will be able to join hands with little white boys and white girls as sisters and brothers. Check. The 2020 census showed a 241% increase in the number of Hoosiers who are multiracial. Over 9 million individuals in the U.S. are identified as multiracial. This is pure evidence that there was some holding of the hands. In 2015, 17% of all U.S. newlyweds had a spouse of a different race or ethnicity. Now remember, during the time of Dr. King's speech, this was illegal in many of the states. I have a dream that little children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. No check. Since we can't put a check next to that portion of the dream, we don't need to go any further because the dream is incomplete. But I'd rather say the dream is still in development. That's where we come in. That's where our theme today becomes so relevant to us. Our responsibility to create a just, equitable, anti-racist society. Our theme is essentially a description of Dr. King's I Have a Dream speech. There are naysayers out there. There are those who loathe progress. There are those out there who never wanted and still don't want Dr. King's dream to come true. Now, we all know those people as what? Haters. But the evidence is against the haters, the naysayers, and those who loathe progress. Those who will tell you that we have not and will not ever realize Dr. King's dreams, don't believe it. Don't believe the hype. Dreams do come true, even if they come true in stages. Now, I'm sure that there's a former sixth grade social science and social studies teacher who only dreamed of being the first African American woman to serve as superintendent of the largest school district in Indiana. I'm sure that former teacher, Dr. Johnson, sitting on this stage will tell you that that dream came true. There are those who more than 42 years ago only dreamed of having a program like this today. Well, I'm sure they'll tell you that dream came true. This is the 42nd program of this sort. There are those in this state who only dreamed of having a Hispanic or Latino person heading up major organizations like banks in this state who will tell you that those dreams came true. They're the likes of Juan Gonzalez, president of Key Bank, and Rafael Sanchez over at Old National. Now, let's not make progress that may be slower than what we like. Let's not make that as a mistake that there's no progress at all. Now, our responsibility to create a just, equitable, and anti-racist society, it implies that we all play a part and we all have responsibility to ensure that we continue to pursue Dr. King's progress on that dream. But we do that by doing. We do it by doing. Now, it may take a breakthrough moment for you to start doing. Now, that breakthrough moment came to my late father, Reverend Thaddeus Payne Sr., when my oldest sister couldn't enroll in a small school in El Dorado, Arkansas, and businesses refused to hire people simply because of the color of their skin. He began doing. He marched, he protested, and used every legal means to effectuate change. My oldest sister ultimately became one of the first African Americans to attend Southside Elementary School in El Dorado. I would subsequently attend that school as well. Because of his dedication and commitment to the essence of Dr. King's dream, the city of El Dorado recently honored him by dedicating a street, the street that I grew up on, to him. And if he were alive today, he too would say that dreams do come true, but they come true by doing. So what will you do? What will you be willing to take responsibility for? There are lots of verbs to pick from. Will you march? Will you write your state representative? Will you volunteer? Will you be friends with kids who don't look like you? Will you be friends with kids who don't have the same background as you? Will you stand up against discrimination? So what will you do? Will you work for the United Way in service for others? Will you be able to be a good role model to your friends or family members, peers, and on Instagram and TikTok? And I want to pause here and mention TikTok because I just did my first TikTok with my daughter. So I am now a cool dad. But whatever you do, chances are you'll find your breakthrough moment and you'll be a part of making that dream come true. Now keep in mind that today we all have an opportunity to continue Dr. King's dream. Dr. King was accused of doing many things, but the one thing that he was most accused of that has lasted to this day was doing good. I want to be accused. I want you to be accused. I want us all to be accused of doing good. Will you join me and be friends with someone else who doesn't look like you, who doesn't have the same background as you? Will you join me in helping a neighbor? Will you join me in speaking up against wrongs that are happening? Will you join me in completing assignments, even when they're not fun or you don't want to? Will you join me in doing good? Doing good is not easy. Some naysayers will tell you that you are no good, and because you're no good, you can do no good. Don't listen to that. In the words of Jay-Z, brush your shoulders off. When I think about all the barriers that can jeopardize our desire to do good, I'm reminded of the following poem. When you're up against a trouble, meet it squarely face to face. Lift your chin, set your shoulders, plant your feet, and take a brace. When it's vain to try to dodge it, do the best that you can do. You may fail, but you may conquer. See it through. Black may be the clouds about you, and your future may seem grim, but don't let your nerves desert you. Keep yourself in fighting trim. If the worst is bound to happen, in spite of all that you can do, running from it will not save you. See it through. Even hope may seem futile, when with troubles you'll be set. But remember, you're facing just what other people have met. You may fail, but fall still fighting. Don't give up, whatever you do. Eyes front, heads high, to the finish. See it through. Now I'm asking you to join me in doing good. Thank you for allowing me to share with you today.
Thank you so much. Let's give him one more round of applause. Attorney Fred Payne. This is my sixth city. I've lived all over the country. And let me tell you, having people like Mr. Payne and having communities like this one is a gift. There are so many people who wish that they can be in rooms like this. So Mr. Payne, thank you so much for your words. All right, so we have some more dynamic students coming up. We have the Building Blocks Academy Scholars, Elena Hayes and Madeline Carter, for a celebration in prose, and reciting And Still I Rise by author Maya Angelou. Following this, we'll see from Isabella Hernandez, a Crispus Attucks 11th grade student. The floor is yours.
Still I Rise by Maya Angelou. You may write me down in history with your bitter, twisted lies. You may trod me in the very dirt, but still like dust I'll rise. Does my sassiness upset you? Why are you beset with gloom? 'Cause I walk like I've got oil wells pumping in my living room? Just like moons and like suns with the certainty of tides, with hope springing high, still I rise. Did you want to see me broken, bowed head and lowered eyes, shoulders falling down like teardrops, weakened by my soulful cries? Does my haughtiness offend you? Don't take it awful hard, that I laugh like I've got gold mines digging in my own backyard. You may shoot me with your words, you may cut me with your eyes, you may kill me with your hatefulness, but still like air I'll rise. Does my sexiness upset you? Does it come as a surprise that I dance like I've got diamonds at the meeting of my thighs? Out of the huts of history's shame I rise. Up from the past that's rooted in pain I rise. I am a black ocean, leaping and wide, welling and swelling I bear in the tide. Leaving behind nights of terror and fear I rise. Into a daybreak that's wondrously clear I rise. Bringing the gifts that my ancestors gave, I am the dream and the hope of the slave. I rise, I rise, I rise.
You see how they just kind of hair flipped and walked off? That's how you say that. I would not be mad at you if you went into Kroger and then you're at the checkout line and you say, still I rise. Okay, still I rise. Please give them another round of applause. They did amazing. I would like to introduce and welcome to the podium Isabella Hernandez, a Crispus Attucks 11th grade student, to present Nichelle Hayes for a special message for our youth here, and that will be followed by a celebration and song featuring the Arsenal Tech Titan Harmony.
Nichelle M. Hayes served as the interim CEO of the Indianapolis Public Library and is the founding director of the Center for Black Literature and Culture at NDPL. A graduate of Indiana University School of Library and Information Science with her master's in library science, she also holds an additional master's degree in public administration and human resources from Valdosta State University. Hayes currently serves on a number of boards, including past president of the Indiana Black Librarians Network, co-chair, Black Caucus of ALA, and board member of the Greater Indianapolis NAACP branch. Additional noteworthy accomplishments include the 2022 National Coalition of 100 Black Women Breakthrough Woman Award, lifetime member of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporation, and alum of the Indiana Librarians Leading in Diversity Fellowship Program. Hayes is a graduate of Arlington High School and a member of New Mission Missionary Baptist Church. Please welcome to the microphone to give the message to our youth, Nichelle Hayes.
Thank you so much for that wonderful introduction. I want to give another round of applause to the young people who are doing so much to show us that we have a bright future ahead of us. I want to first acknowledge my mother, Sylvia Cleveland Hayes, who is a 1961 graduate of Crispus Attucks High School. So I grew up knowing about this school and the Big O and all of the other great things that comes with being a Crispus Attucks Tiger. And so I count it an honor to be able to stand on this stage today. This weekend, we honor the life and work of Dr. Martin Luther King, Jr. Dr. King worked with many people throughout our country, some named like Ella Baker, Dorothy I. Height, Coretta Scott King, Bayard Rustin, as well as many others that we will never know their names. And they worked hard for justice and equality for all Americans. Dr. King said, "We must come to see the roots of racism are very deep in our country, and there must be something positive and massive in order to get rid of all of the effects of racism and the tragedies of racial injustice. He said these words in 1968 in Washington, D.C., and unfortunately, they still ring true. There is a considerable amount of work that remains undone, and as the youth and the future of our country and our world, you are the group of people with the vision and the drive to carry on and complete that work. You are the people, and the time is now. Ujima, which is the third day of Kwanzaa, is collective work and responsibility to build and maintain our community together and make our brothers and sisters' problems our problems, and to solve them together. This is what is required here in Indianapolis and around the world. It is our responsibility to create a just and equitable anti-racist society, not just for people of color, but for everyone, because we're only as strong as our weakest link. Freedom is never voluntarily given by the oppressor. It must be demanded by the oppressed. And this is what MLK wrote in his letter from the Birmingham jail. We must work together as a community to tackle this cancer that permeates our country and threatens to derail this experiment in democracy. Our civic duty to give and lend to our community much like a community garden. Some of those tools are voting, advocacy with elected and appointed officials, and helping others in need. Gaining an education, formally and informally, and then sharing that knowledge and applying it. This is critical. Dr. King's legacy is strengthened by the work of many others. There's an African proverb, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. And finally, in the words of Dr. King, now let us begin. Now let us rededicate ourselves to the long and bitter but beautiful struggle for a new world. Thank you.
Please welcome Arsenal Tech Titan Harmony. Amazing, amazing. I just wish I could take you all with me no matter where I went. It sounds so good. Life would sound so good. Thank you all so much. You know, part of being here today is about not only honoring Dr. King, but honoring his legacy. I had the honor to interview Dr. Bernice King, which is Dr. King's youngest daughter. We spent quite a bit of time together. And something that she told me that really resonated with me and I've been thinking about as we've had these wonderful performances and these wonderful speakers is that she talked about your best legacy being the service that you leave, right? When you're gone and you're not in this world anymore, how will people remember you? And I think about just this corridor, being on Indiana Avenue and being on Martin Luther King Jr. Street and being here in Crispus Attucks High School. I mean, you can't help but feel the excellence that has just gone through this community. If you haven't had a chance to walk around and to see the different historical markers and to look at the homes that housed all these amazing minds that built our community, do so, because that's their legacy. That's the service that they left behind. And the amazing thing about all of this is that the work is not done, is that now you all get a chance to do this amazing work. And I'm not expecting you to do it the same way. It can be through your TikTok. It can be through so many different avenues of not only educating people, but giving back, because please understand, I interview a lot of people on Wish TV. We have a lot of coverage, and you would be surprised how many people still need a little bit of education, yes? So I'm charging you today to do what one of my favorite quotes says to do, that people might forget what you've said, people might forget what you've done, but people will never forget how you made them feel. And so I hope that you leave this room today and you remember that wholeheartedly, and it'll be very, very good. All right, well, coming up next, because we have some amazing people who still need to talk to you, we want to first thank Fred Payne, Nichelle Hayes, and the Building Blocks Academy Scholars, and the Arsenal Tech Titan Harmony. Give them a big round of applause. Yes. If y'all need another person, it's not going to be me, but I can find somebody else. That was wonderful. All right, so at this time, I would like to, one, thank the audience. Thank you all so much for being here. And two, I would like to invite Pat Payne and Lauren Franklin, your principal. Let's give them a round of applause. Give them some love. To come up here and bless us with this, with their remarks at the podium. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Yes, let's give Alexis another hand of applause. Thank you so much. You were absolutely wonderful, Alexis. And again, we thank you for sharing your time with us. I want to recognize Anne Marie Byers, our stage manager, and my partner in this work for many years. Our amazing superintendent, Dr. Alicia Johnson. Give her a big hand. Commissioner Kenneth Allen, thank you so much for all you do, because we wouldn't even be having this program if it wasn't for them. Sincere gratitude is extended to all our program guests, the OC office, WFYI, and our volunteers who made this program such a grand success. Dr. King would be so proud. Don't forget to visit the Crispus Attucks Museum following this program. And now, Ms. Franklin, please join me for your closing remarks.
So good morning once again. Can we give Dr. Payne a round of applause for all of her love and hard work for so many years? Dr. King, Dr. King once stated that we must learn to live together as brothers or perish together as fools. And I'm going to repeat that one more time. We must learn to live together as brothers or perish together as fools. As adults, we must be able to remove our egos and listen to one another because our young people are always watching us. And students, you must be able to find the words to communicate with others when there are problems. The senseless violence that we are experiencing in our community and in our nation is so incredibly unnecessary. We are all brothers and sisters, and we should behave as such. It's all about love for our fellow man and for one another. And I love you. Thank you for your time today.
Everybody, do me a favor, and if you can find your pulse, I know this is not health class, but take your 2 fingers, find your pulse either here or here. Try it out, try it out. Do you feel it? You can nod your head once you feel it. You feel it? Yes, yes. There's a lot of people who would love to be able to feel this today. But there's so many people who can feel this today, and they said with every pump, they're going to do something about it. Dr. King once said that if you have pulse in your veins, if you can feel your pulse, that means you have another opportunity to make a difference in this world. I hope that if you just need a reminder of how important you are and how much impact that you can have, that you just take a second and feel yourself, feel your pulse, because it's that pulse that will allow you to do great things in this world. Well, I would like to recognize a couple of amazing people. Anne-Marie Byers, where are you? Where are you, Anne-Marie? Where is she? Come on over here. A lot of times the people with the headsets are some of the most important ones. I want you to give her the loudest round of applause you possibly can. So good. Let me tell you something. Ms. Anne-Marie here, she had us together. She said left, right, and we came left, right. We appreciate you so much and all the work that you've done to make this what it is. One more round of applause for Ms. Anne-Marie. We have OCE WFYI, and I want to invite you to stand and to sing We Shall Overcome, led by the amazing Arsenal Tech Titan Harmony. And if you need a little help, the words on the back of your program.
We shall overcome. We shall overcome. We shall overcome someday. Oh, deep in my heart, I do
today. The program has now concluded.